There's some bullshit in the game, man. I'm smelling something funny.
So there's 3 fighters in boxing today, right? And I talk about them quite often on this channel, these 3 guys. And I figured I'd go ahead and put them all in one video. Because a lot they do got something in common. All 3 of these brothers can't get a career-defining fight to save their life. I hope it changes. But these 3 dudes simply don't belong in this era. That's just what it is. They don't belong in this era of boxing. It seems like, I guess it always been like this in boxing, depending on who you are, right? You heard stories about Sugar Ray Robinson never giving Charlie Burley a shot. You know, Sugar Ray Leonard never giving Eric Pryor a shot. You hear about all these stories of these what-if stories. You know, Mike McCallum never got to get inside get in the circle with the Fabulous Four. They could have been the Fabulous Five, the Fantastic Five or whatever. I said, but they didn't let him in. You know what I'm saying? Gary Russell Jr., the longest reigning champion in boxing, I believe, right? WBC, longest reigning champion. Only one loss to Vasily Lomachenko. No shame in that. Been looking for all to smoke a mean little guy, right? Terrence Bud Crawford, another mean dude. Silent killer. Pound for pound king, right? I got him at number 1. One of the best in the world, right? Can't really get a career-defining fight to save his life. Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, amateur standout. Probably one of the most feared guys in boxing. Yeah, I said it, feared. He may not come off as a guy that's intimidating, but these motherfuckers don't want to get in the ring with this dude. You know what I'm saying? So now he's moving up to 168 to fight a unheard of Dusty Harrison. Now, we heard of him. Us hardcore guys, we heard of him. 34-0. Good amateur, young guy. Big. 168. He testing the waters because he can't get no work at 160. And the sad thing about Demetrius Andrade's situation, he's at 160. Everybody on his side of the street with the zone. And he still can't get no fights. So he's on the right side of the street. And he still can't get no fights. He revealed that Billy Joe Saunders was getting $4 million to fight him from Eddie Hearn. $4 million. So we know Eddie Hearn probably likely putting a bag in front of these dudes' faces. He said he was baffled that Jamal Charlo turned down that $7 million. He couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford been calling out Errol Spence for years now. It's about to be on, what? We going on 3 years now since this thing with Spence started. And now we hearing Spence saying that his plan is Garcia, Pacquiao, and then Bud. Maybe he's saving the best for last. Maybe he just wants to make sure he gets the lion's share because he knows he's going to get that ass beat. I ain't mad at it. Gary Russell Jr. been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. Floyd Mayweather told him, leave him alone. This is what Gary Russell Jr. said. Floyd called him and said, leave him alone. Who does that? This is the era of boxing we in, people. Where fans care more about how much a fighter is making than actually the fighter fighting. Terrence Crawford, Gary Russell Jr. and Demetrius Andrade just simply don't belong in this era. They belong somewhere in the early 2000s, maybe in the mid 2000s, early 2000s, 90s and 80s or some shit. They don't belong in this era, I'll tell you that. This is just not the era for those type of fighters. The fans don't support them, not like they should. You know what I'm saying? They support him when it's convenient. They don't support Gary when he was they only supported Gary when he was trying to call out Crawford for an unrealistic fight. And that's because Crawford's everybody's shit house because he calling out Errol Spence. Because he wants to fight the best fighters. You know what I'm saying? He wants to fight the champions, the guys with the belts. The best guys. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately for him, now he's stuck in a trap fight with Kell Brook. A lot of people gave him shit for this fight. That's the best welterweight win on Spence's resume. But they gave Crawford shit for it. His only 2 losses is to Golovkin and Errol Spence. Guess what? Both dudes are still on the pound for pound list. But they ain't gonna get Crawford no credit for that fight. It's a trap fight. And he has to look good too. Gary Russell Jr., he don't even gotta fight. He might not even fight this year. We thought he was gonna have a fight with Devin Haney. But Devin Haney was just pump faking. I'm gonna just be real here, and I was kind of back and forth with that whole little thing, and it just kind of pissed me off at the end. I'm gonna just conclude with this. I don't like Devin. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing personal. I keep calling it how I see it. I think Devin was just bullshitting, man. I think he was gonna fight Gamboa this whole time, man, and that was just something to kind of help get the brothers off the. You know what I'm saying? Kind of help. You know what I'm saying? Like he was gonna fight Gamboa this whole time, man. That's really what it was. I believe that was their intentions this whole time. So Gary Russell Jr., Terrence Crawford, Demetrius Andre, they got the worst luck in boxing. Crawford don't got as bad luck as they do. You know what I'm saying? He don't got as bad luck as they do. He just can't get no career-defining welterweight fight. Everybody downplay Jeff Horn win. You know what I'm saying? Even though Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao, the same Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman, but Jeff Horn ain't shit. Benavidez had one leg, you know what I'm saying? You know, undefeated guy, bigger guy, you know what I'm saying? Counterpuncher, tricky, awkward style, you know, but he had one leg, so that don't count. Amir Khan, I mean, silver medalist guy, maybe over the hill a little bit, but nobody ever made the motherfucker quit. He made him quit, and he outboxed him. Nobody ever outboxed him. Who else? And then we got Mean Machine. Olympian guy, undefeated, one draw to Ray Robinson, another tough fight. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of trap fights for Crawford at welterweight. And he stopped all these fucking dudes, but he still don't get no credit. You know what I'm saying? So certain fighters it's just never, you know, they just don't belong in this era, man. And they just got to make the best of what they got and what they can get. You know what I'm saying? They just got to make the best. And there's no friends in this era of boxing. See, back in the day, fighters, not all the time it seemed like, but it seemed like they had a certain level of brotherhood with each other to where, like, okay, man, we got to eat off each other. This is how we eat. So, you know, we friends, but we got to fight. And this is how we can make a lot of money together. So let's do this. These fights, they ain't going to do it. It's a lot of dick pulling. And you know what I'm saying? It's a pissing contest, all types of weak shit going on. And a lot of fans don't hold their feet to the fight. It's up to us hardcore fans to really dress this shit, but I can't do this shit by myself. Honestly, when I even speak like this, I feel like it's taboo. Maybe I'm just old school. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. You got these dudes with belts and shit. Demetrius Andre been calling out Canelo Alvarez, Charlo, all these people for years, man. And you want to bring up the whole Charlo, the Jamel Charlo incident where Andre and the negotiations fell apart. Man, that's some business bullshit. What's stopping them from fighting now? I don't care about nothing that happened 3 or 4 years ago. What's stopping them now? All these dudes are still undefeated for the most part. Maybe they got one loss, but they all still champion level guys. They still at the top of their game, even better. What's stopping it now? Why do we want to? Do we really? I mean, Errol Spence talking about the Pacquiao fight. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think Pacquiao go fight you unless you look bad, bro. So if you want that Pacquiao fight, you got to look bad. Because Pacquiao, he's old now, and he's even more of an opportunist than he ever was. So he ain't going to, if you could run through Danny Garcia coming off that accident, coming off a year-long layoff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you best believe he ain't going to fight you, dude. But if you squeak by Danny, you know, if you squeak by him, he may just give you a fight. But see, Pacquiao, he kind of earned that right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even knock Pacquiao for the shit he be doing. Pacquiao put in the fucking work. You know what I'm saying? He put in the work. Floyd Mayweather, even though I do knock some of his ways, he did put in the fucking work. You know what I'm saying? But what he's doing with Tank right now, I'm kind of getting off track a little bit. But what he's doing with Tank right now is kind of weak. I seen what he said at the post fight. He's pretty much doing what he did. Tank is pretty much Money Mayweather Jr. He ain't even doing no pretty boy shit at all. He's going straight to Money Mayweather and let Tank fight whoever he wants to fight and just make a lot of money and just put on these shows. It's not even about fighting the best with him. So I like Tank, but that's not one of my favorite fighters or nothing like that, even close. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going to be fighting the best fighters based off of what Floyd Mayweather just said. I need to see the dudes go fight the best fighters. I need to see who the number one guy is. Too many champions. We need more undisputed champions. What's up, Errol? You know what I'm saying? What's up, little dudes down there? Gary looking for all the smoke. Why nobody want to take Gary Russell Jr. scout? Why nobody want to fight Gary Russell Jr.? This dude been calling out people for years, pulling up on dudes' fathers, pulling up on, man, just putting out people's business. He been doing whatever it takes to get a fight, man. He did everything but slap a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He still can't get a fight. Nobody want to fight him. The Crawford thing was just unrealistic. Let's not even go there. But nobody. I don't think Devin Haney was for real. And I love Dev. I think Dev gonna be that guy, but I don't think he was for real about fighting Gary. Gary too mean. Gary mean. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of built up animosity, man. But see, the difference between him from the other two guys is that he can't get really no fights. You know what I'm saying? At least Andre right now, he can kind of stay busy fighting Mr. Mahoos and get paid decently for it until he can land that big fight. But Gary Russell Jr. ain't getting nothing. Who is he going to fight, man? He may have to fight Tevin Farmer or somebody or go over there on the zone. And see, Gary Russell Jr. has flexibility. He's on the PBC side, and he still can't get fights. Demetrius Andrade on the zone side with Canelo Alvarez, Triple G, Danny Jacobs, all the middleweights over there except for Charlo and Zdrivchenko. And then Zdrivchenko can go over there as a guest sometimes. Still can't get no fights. So could we really blame the networks, the promoters? Yeah, we can blame them to a degree. But at the end of the day, man, if anything, if Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder showed us anything, two guys from two different sides of the street, from two different sides of the world, could come together and make a fucking fight happen if they really did want it. So what's really the excuse for guys like Crawford, Andrade, and Gary Russell Jr. for not getting these big fights in boxing? What's really the excuse? High risk, low reward? I don't think so. Eddie Hearn putting that bag on that table for guys to fight Andrade. They just don't want to fight him. He's too good. Maybe that's what it is. They just don't. They don't want to say it. They'll just say, "Oh, he's not a draw. Oh, he's boring." Mikey Garcia saying, "Well, Mikey Garcia say about Bud? Oh, I don't like his style." You don't like his style? The motherfucker comes to fight. You just don't want to get that ass beat. Like and subscribe. How'd your boy? Peace out.